from the screen.
Hello and thank you for joining me today, where I would like to discuss where it all went wrong for the career of one man named KSI. Why does everyone hate him? Stay tuned. As one of the early pioneers of YouTube, KSI predominantly spent his time playing lots of FIFA, a game adored by Brits for its depiction of soccer, a sport, if you can call it that. He goes on to mass-produce these videos along with a few other games for a few years, as his content starts to transition into a more IRL-based trolling and fan interaction style. He started vlogging and making videos with the lads, who would go on to be known as the Sidemen, Simon being his bottom bitch twink. These friends, throughout the years, would go on to keep him semi-grounded, but as you'll see, occupied with their own lives, JJ would end up going down a very dark path. During this era, KSI would go on to be known as a British superstar, publishing books and collaborating with other celebrities to entertain and build his brand. It's also during this era that he would make comments about the queen of YouTube, Marcia, which created disdain between him and the GOAT, PewDiePie. As a young successful man, KSI wasn't concerned with the more raunchy end of his content, and this would lead to him being seen as a polarizing figure. This would go on until an earth-shattering event occurred, the death of Vine, the precursor to Musical.ly and the app that now controls the youth, TikTok. Vine was a primarily comedy-centric app, which, owned by Twitter, was forced to shut down due to failure to monetize. The app housed such vile humans that their effect and subsequent move to YouTube would be felt for years to come.
To the pen.
Now, I know this chapter may seem out of order to those of you who are a fan of a certain song, but it's not due to my stupidity. KSI just seems to have forgotten the order of his career, and this era was only a hint of what's to come. KSI has been making garbage meme music for a very long time, and his first attempt to make serious music came when he betrayed his Sidemen bros and moved to LA to join the Clout Gang with Ricegum of all people, who at the time was at the peak of his career due to bum-kissing FaZe Banks, Summer Rae, and them. Together, these titans of cringe would go on to have a diss track war with the Sidemen, as well as They Who Shall Not Be Named, until, due to unknown reasons, KSI announced that it was all fake, and that he was returning to the UK to be with the Sidemen. In reality, there could be many reasons for what happened, but one thing is clear. KSI was willing to betray and associate with evil in order to grow his brand. He betrayed the Sidemen, and more than anyone, the fans, by lying to them, or worse, genuinely leaving his true friends chasing clout, and then covering it up when the move didn't work out for him. The diss tracks that would come from this were really nothing special, and the Ricegum beef with the pools was more entertaining at the time. But that wouldn't be the case forever.
To the ring.
This era in a lot of ways marked the start of a redemption story and a maturing for KSI and a subsequent hero story as Joe Weller, the original YouTube boxing champion who won the vacant belt off of Theo Vaker, called out JJ. The build to this fight would go on to birth YouTube boxing as we know it today, as there was actual beef and both dudes did take the fight seriously. The stage was set and the fight happened.
And take it back out for another
And here
pounding.
we go. This surely is the end of the fight. JJ has got so much power.
It's waved off.
You said you wanted to call someone out.
Wow. Obviously, man's got this belt right now. If any YouTuber wants it, you can come get it. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, I don't care. Bring it.
Like Voldemort, I can't leave them unnamed any longer. Logan and Jake Paul, the villains of YouTube, disrespecting the dead and shamelessly, illegally pushing products onto children.
U.S. Congress passed the Children's Television Act. The law does several things that are intended to stop scumbags like the Pauls from exploiting younger viewers. The CTA dictates that shows may not include commercials for products related to the program or featuring characters from the program, which is called host selling. It also limited how many minutes per hour of commercials that children's programming can contain. That's 17.5% and 20% of the watch time. Maximum can be ads. Jake begins by plugging his new song, available on iTunes. Next, he plugs his live tour. Then he advertises his merch. Then he plugs his upcoming pay-per-view boxing event. Then he's back to merch, telling us there's a $500 prize being given away to people who buy in the next 72 hours.
$500. The second prize winner is going to win $250. Just go to fanjoy.com/Jake Paul. Enter the contest, guys. Get yourself some of the hottest merch.
Then he's back to plugging the song. Then in these segments, which really show the seams on how he employs repetition, Jake switches back and forth between stuffing the word tour and song and music video into as many sentences as he can.
My whole entire life is basically turning into a tour. My life is becoming a tour. Everything I do, man, I'm just I'm a tour. Tour.
Next, Jake walks into the area of the house that he's turned into a merch store. We see the URL of the store on the walls, and then Jake makes a merch storm.
It's a merch store! Freaking merch store!
He lets his dog chew open a box of merch while he's plugging the merch, which brings Jake back to a tour plug.
Tour merch. As you can see, there's some tour merch inside of there. So if you guys come on tour, get your tickets in the description. If you guys come on tour, you're going to be able to get some exclusive merch that is only available on tour.
Then he puts glitter on his face and jumps in the pool to entertain kids. Not an ad. But then in the very next scene, in his car, there's a merch plug.
Got my new merch on. It's the new drop. Yo, check out the shorts too.
This rolls right into a plug for the boxing again, then a plug for the song again, then back to a merch plug again, 2 more plugs for the song, then another plug for the live tour, then a long merch plug. That's 23 separate ad reads built into one video. Out of a 13-minute and 50-second video, nearly 7 minutes of that time is devoted to advertising products. 50%. Now, remember our numbers here. 17.5% and 20%.
These man-children should have been ignored by everyone and forced to work at years ago. But unfortunately, Western society is in a fallen state where scumbags like this get richer, while them and every other corporate Illuminati entity suck us working-class people dry of our money and life force. I can't be the only one who is sick of this, and it never changes. But, back to KSI. He pulled his brother Deji into this, who would go on to never actually try to box or be good at all, but still do it for the sport of his brother. During this brother versus brother feud, the internet was on fire and gifted some amazing press conferences that fed us with cringe that would last years. Fueling the idea of a Jake versus KSI fight, until now where it's more dead than well. Anyway, when the fights actually came, Jake had a tough fight with an out-of-shape Deji, who would go on to lose. And KSI versus Logan ended in a draw, setting up the rematch, and ending the last good YouTube boxing card we would have until the first Creator Clash card. KSI would go on to win the rematch and set up the fight with the final boss of his hero story, Jake Paul. However, instead,
To the pen.
oh boy, more talking about KSI's music. Now in this chapter I'll give JJ his flowers. Before we dismantle him as a human, I do think KSI has made some decent music. Holiday is a song I genuinely enjoy, and there are others. During this boxing era, I became a fan of JJ, and was glad to see him and PewDiePie make peace. And that's why I think I'm qualified to speak for the fans when I bring up what I'm about to. How about we let KSI himself show you what he has become? Okay, so this is KSI's song, a diss track he made on Logan Paul during the boxing beef called On Point. We are going to take some looks at it because some things in here are very interesting when you look at today's context. So, looks like we have Logan Paul and the gang exiting the forest. You know, things they do. The kids laughing at him. Oh, it seems his friend has fallen into some poo. Now, Logan, he laughs at him, because that's what Logan does. He's a scumbag. Wait a minute, children. It would appear they've been brainwashed into also thinking like Logan Paul. What? So if their friend was to fall into some poo, they would laugh? Now, that's a silly example. Of course, we would all laugh if our friend fell in some poo, but Logan Paul, it's deeper than that. Oh, and looks like Mr. Big KSI is doing his whole thing. Logan Paul's scared. This Dragon Ball Z wannabe guy up here in the sky leaves his friends behind. So the kids are all learning these behaviors from Logan Paul. That is the meaning of the video thus far. Logan runs into this mansion, and KSI is greeted by his mother. This is irrelevant. And yeah, KSI is just rapping as he hunts down Logan Paul and tries to kill him. Pretty based, honestly. Let's see. These are just references to Logan being a scumbag. But shoot. Let's see. Looks like he's eating him. Also based cannibalism. Now Logan begs his friends for help, but they won't help him because they were never his friends. This person lives a fake life. Fake people all around him. Just recording as he gets murdered by this black man and 13% of the population doing all these murders though. Ignore that though. But yeah, the end of the video is what I would like to comment on. Yes, the kids. Kids. Oh, the mind control's gone. Did you see that? I will replay it so you can see as closely as I do. Oh, glowing eyes gone. And now they're closing the computer. They realize this man back here ain't shit. But that's exactly what KSI has become. He went from the base statistically usual suspect committing murder on poor white boy Logan Paul over here to now he's the same thing. His own music video. He's now what he made a whole song dismantling and pretty much poking fun at. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you with this. I think it's just goes to show. You'll make a music video and then the hypocrisy, he'll just turn around and do the exact same thing that he spent the whole video artistically pointing out as bad.
To the king.
KSI would go on to not box for a while him and the corporate demons of the world cook up something so vile, so disgusting, that any fan with a brain would never look at JJ the same again. And this marked me slowly turning and seeing through what he was. I was blind, a young boy brainwashed by the funny content and promoting of combat sports, soon to become a man. Not blind, a man. Like in his past, KSI, again, would betray his own morals and sell out, joining Logan Paul as the faces of Prime, a drink that uses misleading marketing to suggest it is a more healthy sports drink alternative, despite being so sweet it'll make your little balls turn into raisins. That's because these sugar replacements are filled with shit that is actively sucking testosterone out of your nutsack. Funnily enough, that's exactly what these companies want. All this chemical shit they've pumped into us and our parents, lowering our body's natural chemicals, leaving us pathetic, weak, fallen, and controllable as a society. We are ideal consumers. Just like the children Logan and KSI now prey on with these products. Hurricane relief efforts won't even accept donated Prime because it cannot pass health standards. When will we as people fight back and demand change from the entities who control us and turn us on each other to distract us from them? The bad practice advertising Logan did for Prime, where he pulls his pants down and shits all over other brands, all to further rob children of their brains and wallets. And KSI became his friend. But he isn't his friend, is he? He's only sold out for money. How much money is enough money? At what point do you realize your impact on society is more important than the money you make bending over and taking it in the ass by the most evil people in the world? While we all suffer, you laugh with that stupid, stupid laugh of yours. Your return to boxing was a clown fest, as you've slowly ran an awesome concept into the ground with misfits. Your fans, who once supported your shitty, catchy music, now can't even do that, because you don't have enough respect for yourself or them to take the criticism from a nice, humble man named Dan TDM. He made one tweet, and you cried for days, no, weeks. Maybe it was to market your shitty, moldy food. But maybe, deep down, you and everyone else knows the only reason you did this is because you are so insecure, so unable to accept being told that someone doesn't like you. Because you suck the devil's cock, so you can get more attention and more money. While us normal, working class people get paid scraps for our work that we put much more effort into than any song you've ever made. Your story was never that of a hero, let alone a king. You're just a fucking disappointment.